what's up, guitar friends? Episode 17. My. How far we've come. Suze.
It's like he's just showing off.
I will not be playing the guitar on this episode.
I don't know.
Guitar friend.
Hey. That is an incredible guitar.
I like it,
It
man.
sounds great.
Yep.
What is that?
So this is a 81, 82, somewhere in there, casino.
Yes, it
From
is.
Say the Word.
Japan. Matsumoku. The
that's the one.
Matsumoku factory.
Matsuzoma's Revenge.
Montezuma's.
Wait, so
That's the
they
one?
used to do the open book.
So this is the proper, historically correct headstock for this guitar. This is Epiphone's old school from before they made Les Pauls, because they only made Les Pauls once they were owned by Gibson and they became the import brand for Gibson.
Right.
The Casino, though, is the old guitar.
They should have just kept that headstock
all
the whole time.
Yes.
It's a good
Well,
one.
they had a larger, bigger one on some before, but you're right, it was different. But that's the correct headstock.
That one looks great.
Yeah.
Yeah, we think it's a walnut finish we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, walnut burst, I guess, because
that
it is
looks
a
right.
burst. There's black around the
Yeah.
outside, but yeah, walnut, maybe stain burst. What do you call?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I don't. Who knows
like
what they
it.
call that?
Added the Bigsby here
Yes.
at Joe Glazer's in Nashville. And I sold it to a friend, and he's looking to sell it again, and so I'm borrowing it to see if I want it back.
So the only thing I would change about that guitar, it needs an orange tip. You know,
I don't know.
the tip on
The selector?
The selector, it needs an orange one.
Here. What is that a thing?
Yeah,
A casino thing?
it's just on lots of guitars. Like most of my Les Pauls have like some of my Les Pauls will have like an orange tip. You know, there's like a different color. Some of the old like bursts had that.
Okay.
I've never
Like an
heard of
orange
that.
tip. What are you talking about? This
We're
guitar's
looking
right
at
here that
guitars
has
now.
orange
What do you
tips.
mean like orange? Orange. Or like
There's guitars that are with an orange tip. Yeah,
Okay, I believe you.
it's a little like
A little nod.
it's like when you have a suit but bright socks.
Oh, I see.
You know what I mean?
Like a color pop.
There you go.
Wow.
It's like, hey, I'm professional, but I have personality.
what I'm noticing from this angle is the binding. The
Yes.
binding is not uniform color. Is that just like aging well?
Yeah, I think
think-
it's yeah, it's
Yeah.
definitely
Cool.
It's probably aging. Yeah.
What a great looking guitar that is.
Yeah, it's nice, and it's super super light. It plays like an acoustic.
Right.
I don't know. I just really dig it.
Fully hollow.
Fully hollow.
Yeah. I don't know if this will come through, but like, it's just loud and like
It's loud, yeah.
you know, vibrant.
And I
don't
love
know.
the inlays too.
Yep.
They're like
Yeah.
parallelogram.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
I like that.
Man, you guys are making me want to buy this guitar now.
You might. We don't have.
As I said earlier,
Yeah.
please keep it in the family.
Yeah, we
I
do like
hate
to
it-
kind of pass guitars.
I hate
around.
it when guitars leave us completely.
I know that.
It's
and
really
you
a bummer.
sold it to a friend.
I sold it to my friend Jared, and he played it for 5 or 6 years, and he bought it because he didn't want it to leave the family at
Yes.
that point. He's like,
And-
I like that guitar. Can I just buy it?
Yeah.
So
And
I gave
he's-
him a good deal,
Uh-huh.
and then now he's saying, I'll give you that same deal.
Same deal. 5
Even
years
though they've
later.
gone way up. You know, these have gone up quite a bit.
Right.
And
The
so-
1200 he gave you is worth more than the 1200 you will give him.
That's true.
Yeah.
But these early 80s casinos are selling for 25
they're
or
quite desirable.
22. Yeah. So anyway, and plus it's got the Bigsby, which is even radder.
Yeah.
But,
This is also Jared's guitar.
yeah, Jared. We got to get Jared on the show. He's our guitar friend.
Why? We have all his guitars.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's here in spirit. You know.
No, we should. That would be fun.
Yeah.
I played with Jared not too long ago.
He's the best.
And yeah.
he really is the best.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite colors on a 335.
Wow.
I don't see them a lot. But
No, you
it's
don't.
Like
It's not a classic color. Something they only I've probably only done in the modern. I don't even ever really see 70s or stuff like with the gold.
No.
It's like kind of a modern
it's
thing.
a new thing. Yeah,
It's
but
cool.
with
This
the
one's
cream like guard and everything. It's just like really pops.
Do you know who had a gold? Well, his was a 336 before they made the smaller 339 body that they made as a. It wasn't really a signature guitar, but this person went on TV with it, and then it kind of became known as his guitar. it was loosely known as the Kiefer Sutherland
Oh,
signature model.
interesting.
And it was because I guess he had a rare custom shop before 339, smaller body 335 style in gold. And he played it on some show, and I saw it. Then I went into a guitar store, and they were talking about it that weekend. And then I started seeing people refer to it as the Kiefer Sutherland.
Was he in a band?
He was in the show 24.
Well, I know who Kiefer Sutherland. Yeah.
Yes, he plays in some band.
How could I not know that guy? He's the
I don't know,
best.
Zeus.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's true.
If I had said it was the Malcolm Young signature, would you have known who that is?
AC/DC.
Oh,
Nice.
Oh,
But
you tried to trap me.
But wait. Okay, I thought Angus was in that band.
They both are
And there.
brothers.
There you go.
Yeah,
Look at this
Hey,
guy.
look at that.
It's on camera.
Do you know the guitar that Malcolm played?
Oh boy.
I'll give you 3 guesses the brand of guitar that Malcolm
Gretsch.
played. Oh my.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah,
What is he-
Let me ask you a
gonna get
question.
me
Let me ask you a
eventually.
question.
Yeah.
How many pickups were in his?
3.
Stock, it would have had 3, but Malcolm only had.
1.
There you go.
I mean, incredible.
Look at this guy.
It's almost like he's heard of AC/DC before.
I know.
I thought that
So
that
great.
band was Ace of Base before I met you guys. I thought when people said AC/DC, I'm like, yeah, I saw the sign. Open up my eyes, I saw the sign. Not joking. Not
I know.
joking.
I don't know. That would.
It's far fetched. But anywho.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Well, that is a cool guitar. That is a cool
We
guitar.
got all cool guitars right now.
Can we hear that? Do you
Yeah,
want
let's
to
do it,
Okay,
man.
let's hear that because
We think these are stock, like burst buckers, maybe.
yeah, yeah, it's probably
335.
It sounds like a 335.
Super
That's
good.
great.
You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it sounds like a big guitar. You can hear the difference between those two. Really, the fully hollow, the semi hollow, the pickups are probably the biggest difference.
Yeah.
but different vibes. For guitars that at first glance a novice
I know.
might
They
think a lay
look like
person
the same thing.
They're
be
the
like,
same
oh, that's the
guitar.
same guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My wife would be like, you have one like that. I'd be like,
Oh, how wrong you are.
no.
Let me tell you the differences. Yeah.
You know, you got a car with 4 wheels, and so does Dale
Right.
Earnhardt. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not the same thing.
That's so true. What about that guitar you're holding?
Well,
That's a different.
ladies and gentlemen,
Everyone would say that's a different guitar.
ladies and gentlemen,
You don't have one of those.
this
Actually,
is a guitar.
He has 2 of them.
I have 2 of them.
I know.
This is a guitar that at this point I believe is deserving of a name. And I don't know what that will be, but just calling it DoubleNeck, you know, because we have Indian DoubleNeck and so maybe it needs to be DoubleNeck.
Well, we named that one, right? I forget the name of it, but
Rajesh.
is that the name?
There's about 11 Indian names that I think could be comedically appropriate.
Right.
We're gonna get canceled so hard.
Yeah. Well,
But it really did come from India. That
It
one
did come from
not.
India, and look, I think I got a good deal because the listing said no previous transactions.
yeah.
You know, Mumbai. You know what I mean, like,
It's like scam.
I don't think people
Yeah.
wanted it. Yeah, but India's not really where you hear about scams. Actually, if it had said, is it where do they do those where do those African guys call you and they're like, we need gift cards.
Nigeria.
There you go.
The
There you
prince.
go. The Nigerian prince.
There it
Right,
is.
right.
Craigslist.
A lot of doctors come from there too, by the way. Anyway, this guitar deserving of a name really because incredible. Bought this thing and we went on its maiden voyage this weekend. Played it. They said it couldn't be done. They said
Here we go.
they said it couldn't be
they?
the proverbial they.
The
They
masses.
said, they said it couldn't be done. It was done. It went off without a hitch. Suze was there actually, so I have a witness. I also have this video clip because not only did I play this guitar, but the heavens opened, and the angel of the Lord visited me and said, "HW, why not slide?" And I said, "Okay." And then he said, on the 12 string, and I fainted. And it was a moment. And so here we go. We're going to cut in the clip right here.
Yes, all my life you have been faithful. And all my life you have been so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God.
Musically appropriate, tasteful,
Yeah.
dare I say, twice as good as if I had only used the slide on the 6th string.
Wow.
It did. I mean, it sounds good.
No, it sounds
Appropriate for the style.
it's
not
actually-
out of place.
It is weird that you don't hear that more often.
No.
Like, why don't people do that? It sounds incredible.
The little walk down when you hear the. It's like, I mean, just.
Yeah.
Did you feel? Do you ever feel like you're in a danger zone playing guitar? Like I'm not safe right now.
Funny you say that because I texted Matt Revere, and he said playing slide on a 12 string in public is the definition of bravery.
That was my question. I would feel exposed.
Yeah.
Like if
Right.
this goes wrong, I can't fix it quickly.
Right.
Well, I mean,
Did it go wrong at any point?
Did you hear any?
No.
It's great.
You know, whenever you're doing some slide licks, like a little bit out of tune is always the tone of the.
Did
that
you
hear
feel
all
tense when you were playing it, or did you feel comfortable as you could be?
I felt pretty comfortable.
Okay.
You know, I was really trying to not overplay, and so I really was hanging back. I don't know if
Yeah.
that came through.
Yeah.
You know, I really was trying to let there be space, and I perceived, you know, on a slide, I'm not the best slide player, so I don't feel that comfortable to be very dynamic with the slide. So the way I could be dynamic was to really hang back and not play at parts,
Yeah, and then, like,
come in
poke
with
out,
it.
yeah.
Right.
And so, but it felt like I needed some but it felt like I needed some it needed some like volume and heft because I was the only guitar player, you know, and I was trying to not just, I'm in standard tuning and I'm also trying to play some chord voices. And luckily it's an easy song, you know, it's 4-chord kind of cowboy style song. It's not really a 4-chord cowboy song, but there's like 5 chords in that song, right? And they're changing the order and stuff. And so there's voicings you can hit where things are just together and it works. And so it's very forgiving in that way. I felt okay. I felt okay. I felt like it was time to hang back a little bit. And
But you never switched necks on that, right? It was just
on that song, I never did. No, I just played. No, once the slide was out, I just played on the 12.
gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
A whole other thing to think about, you know. Switching
Well, that
necks,
was a whole
switch
nother
pickups.
thing. And we were talking about this too. And the switching neck thing was here. We'll cut in another clip because this is switching necks mid song. Point, you're going, hey, Joey, you're just showing off now. You just want me to play clips. He just wants to watch you play a solo
People did ask
in your church.
We want to see this thing if
They
it's
said they want to see it.
Yeah.
When I saw that clip, I thought that is a happy man right there.
Oh yeah.
Look at the joy in his face.
Right.
Come on.
Undeniable.
It's undeniable.
Come on.
It's like, man, he knows it sounds good. He knows it looks good.
It works.
It's playing. He's playing right.
And I really tried to put the 12
so
string
great.
in spots where it would be tasteful. And so sometimes I'm switching necks. But as I was telling Suze, I practiced here so much. And I was up till like 2:30 in the morning the night before. I learned the music, but then I'm playing it on this thing. And so I had to like, there's too much to do. There's too many switches. There's a neck switch. And so I said, okay, I got to just commit to the bridge of both. So it's bridge, because I don't want to be switching. You can't switch both. But, so I'm like, I'm just going to switch guitars. 12, 6, you know? And so I told myself, all right, you have to like remember to do it right. And so the best thing I could come up with was like, when you're picking, you kind of learn like economy of motion, right? And when you switch strings, like on the downstroke, you can go to the next string. On the upstroke, you know, you can start your pick. You know, I don't do that fast at picking, so I don't really think about this. But I thought, oh, if I have any hope, I have, and I'm playing on the 12, then I have to, at my downstroke, go down and hit it. And now I'm here on the 6. And then to like, because there's too many things to do. And so I was telling Suze, I gotta, on the 6, I gotta go, like bring my whole body down and go, now we're going up. And it helped. It helped to kind of do this.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Like, you know, here, and then.
The miming. That's my favorite.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You do it with the whole body.
No, it sounds great.
And it was and then I was like, wow. And you know what? The whole weekend, I never played the wrong guitar. Right. I never went to a note and it wasn't on. And so it worked. So it's really a whole body movement. You know, I mean, you got to commit the whole.
I've played that guitar. It's very disorienting to play.
It's
really hard.
That's a great word.
It feels like we've said this a lot. It feels like you're like natural where you're gonna put your hand on the double neck or on the 6-string guitar. It feels like it's way too far out and way lower than you think it's gonna be. It's really, really not an easy guitar to play. So I'm glad that you found a way to sort of play it that felt fluid and natural and made sense.
It felt like when I got my Tesla and it has the one pedal driving. And so you don't apply the brake. And so when you first get in and you're trying to like just do something simple like approach a stop sign, you end up stopping 20 feet back. And you're like, what? You know, and then because you're not coasting. And then eventually you just get used to it and it's like you're not even thinking about it.
Right.
I think there's some of that. You play for just a couple hours and you're used to it.
Yeah,
for sure.
And now it does when I'm playing the 12 up high. I feel like I'm playing a little tiny guitar because my hands are like together like a T-Rex, you know. And then when you're playing low, it's so low. It's like, oh my gosh, I just want to lean back and like, you know what I mean? Stand on a piano, you know.
Wow. Did you stand on the piano?
No, it's a keyboard. It's a Nord.
Speaking of appropriate for church,
yes.
Is it okay to take a guitar solo on top of a piano?
I'm gonna say no.
I'm gonna say no under any circumstance.
What's like a Christmas cantata?
Are you dressed as the Pope?
Yes.
More.
I love how like not quick he is.
Yes. Are you dressed as the Pope? Yes.
No.
Yes, you are.
Look, I'm just going to say this. If in some sort of strange arrangement you were playing the rest of the set also on top of the piano, fine.
Interesting.
But I do think that taking the solo and feeling the need to step up on the piano is a little much.
That goes over the line.
Yes, a little much.
So would you do it again? Do you plan on playing that guitar?
This guitar is a part of me.
Okay, let me ask it a different way. Let me ask it. Hold on.
I told this to somebody. This is the most fun I've had since I bought a Boss DD3 delay pedal, as on like my 3rd month playing the guitar, like the electric. I got an electric, and like 3 months later, I got a delay pedal, and it was just as scary and crazy and wild, but also fun. And then, you know what I mean?
I just want to interject really quick that in between the delay pedal and that guitar was Goldie, Trini, every Sir guitar you've ever owned.
This is more fun.
I'm saying like that.
This is
that's nuts.
You know what this reminds me of?
Yeah, what?
You know what's happening to you right now?
What's that?
It's like I'm trying to think of like an appropriate way to say.
Is it like a Renaissance?
No.
Is it, okay.
It's like when you sit down at a slot machine and it pays out, and then you sit there and you're like, I just want to feel that again. You're never going to be able to play a single neck guitar ever again because you're going to be like, nah, it's just not as good.
It does feel like a
half as
you're going to be
Yeah.
chasing this,
chasing this high,
chasing that high.
This
I
is
did
it.
not expect this to happen. When he ordered it, I was like, okay, that'll be here and gone.
Very funny, HW. You know,
Yeah.
I think that.
But didn't I tell you this would be my number one?
Before it arrived,
I felt it. Didn't I say that?
I thought it was after you had played it for a while.
Maybe.
I think unfortunately that guitar is a part of our lives now.
It's a part of us too. For better
I'm
or for
always going to
worse.
say, if you had a 12 string, you'd be able to.
Wow.
It also made me realize, though, too, this also provides, say I do want to play slide every now and then. You could conceivably rig this up as a 6-string and put it in open tuning, which would then be much more forgiving, much easier to play it, slide in open tuning, and then just jump back and play the stuff.
I hate that that's a great point, but that's a great point.
It's true because you can't, slide is in standard is challenging, there's so many
You got to
spots.
avoid a lot, yeah.
You avoid a lot. That's it. Well said.
Yeah.
That's it. There's a lot to avoid.
and
There's a lot of landmines.
Slide is it's so squirrely.
Yes.
And
Which drives me nuts when I watch someone like, the Allman Brothers,
Yes.
or like just
Oh,
like
just-
crush
just
it.
Yes.
shredding.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm like,
Derek
how are they-
trucks, aerial
I know how hard
pose
that
in.
is.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Case in point, did you see Leonard Skinner on the New Year's
No.
thing? They played Freebird. It was okay.
It used to be better in previous years.
Well, I don't even think there's any original members in Leonard Skinner anymore.
Oh.
But
Yeah,
it was okay.
One-arm drummer not happening anymore?
that was
One-armed drummer.
Def Leppard.
In the same
All
episode.
of that clout
In
you
the
gained
same episode.
by knowing who AC/DC was.
At least
has gone
people,
away
people
now.
can just see the range of my knowledge now.
You mean Ace of Base?
You mean Ace of Base?
Are they
yeah.
still going Ace of Base?
Probably.
Okay.
Probably.
Nobody
They got the
knows.
one-armed drummer now.
Yeah. That'd be sick. Wow.
Like you said, there's a lot to avoid on the slide. In standard tuning, it's quite challenging.
Yeah.
I think it's the most amazing when I see someone just kill it on the slide in standard tuning.
Yeah.
It's just incredible.
My only point with bringing it up is Freebird. Everyone learns how to play that song on slide.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out pretty difficult, even for the people who play it professionally.
Even for the original band.
Hey, look, maybe if you can't hear yourself, you can't play slide, no matter how good you are.
That's so true.
You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
can pantomime your way through the guitar because you know where the frets are. With slide, you can't.
You're out there.
It's
Yeah.
It'd be like playing the violin deaf. It's not
You know
gonna
who
work.
actually really shreds on slide is Ian Thornley from Big Wreck.
Oh yeah.
He shreds on everything,
Yes.
but slide is specifically, it's actually like crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyway,
So let me tell you about the developments because we had a whole we obviously had a whole episode and we played a game. Would you play it at church? And we had some discussion about the appropriateness of a guitar like this.
was this guitar the reason that
Yeah.
this was it, right? It was, should you play this at church? Then we did a whole episode on trying to find the limit.
Yes.
So now we're full
it was
circle.
this, and then that brought on discussions.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then, and it's really been interesting because I am happy to report that I had almost 100% positive feedback, and it was excited feedback. You know what I mean? There was a lot of people excited about it. Suze, what did you see, experience?
Well, okay, so
from the reaction.
after he played church, he comes up to me elated. That's probably the best word for it. Just so happy.
I'm not surprised
Yeah.
in the slightest.
And he goes, And I was like, it was pretty cool. And right at that moment, someone walks up to us and is like, sorry to interrupt, but dude, the double neck, bro.
I'm not, and I didn't pay him or anything.
I mean, my jaw was on the ground. I was like,
it was so.
and then he went on to say, like, hardly ever see these in church.
Yeah.
This is like such a great, it was perfect for the songs, and like just kind of filled in the whole conversation we had just had. I was watching him talk, going like, are you even aware of that whole episode?
Not
He had
aware at all.
no clue.
Not aware.
He was just so excited to see it in church.
Yeah,
specifically.
I don't even think he's a guitar player. I mean, him and I have never talked about the guitar.
But he mentioned, a couple artists that used it and stuff like that, and how excited he was to see one in real life played at his church, and he walked away, and we looked at each other like, what are the odds
you
that
can't
he
make
would
it
say-
up.
You can't make
it
that
up.
up.
I said, there you go. I did have one person. Everyone has different perspectives. We've been talking about this and different lines and stuff. I did have one person who, felt that it was too distracting and inappropriate. This was before we played the services. They expressed this to me. And it didn't become a conflict or anything. I just listened to their perspective. And I sort of, as I'm standing there on the stage in my spot, they're like, I just think, it's distracting and it maybe calls too much attention. And so I just pointed to the ground and I said, there's a fog machine behind me. Like that. You hear that? You hear the, because that's what I hear when it goes silent on stage. Like there's a fog machine back here, right? Like we have laser lights. I mean, these lights are automated and they do strobe stuff. Like, you know, my only point was either these are both appropriate or neither is appropriate, but they feel like they go together. You know what I mean? Now, if we were in a place that was maybe much more orthodox, I could see how this could be distracting, other things would be distracting. Yeah. But my only point was, I don't think this is distracting. Because there's a fog machine behind it, right? So, like, what am I distracting from? The fog?
Again, though.
The overall, like, concert experience. But, and for good or bad, I just think it's... But I heard what he's saying, and it was probably good because of our conversations, I felt like I recognized these lines just fall in different places for different people.
Yeah.
And, you know, we were able to talk, and I was able to say, hey, man, look, like, in a more charismatic church, we would wear suits. But our dancing would be pretty, like, wild. But here, if you start dancing like that, it'd be like, what are they doing?
Right.
But no one wears a suit. You know what I mean? So, like, our clothing goes one way, this goes the other way. And it's all these different things. It worked out. And in the end, I'm not sure I changed that person's mind. But we sort of just were able to leave it at, you know, I see your perspective. I get it. To me, color, this is not different than colors, you know, but some people colors are more distracting. Some people this is more distracting. But it was interesting. But apart from that, and I was a little bummed out. But then at the end of service, I'm talking to somebody, and I'm talking to my pastor, and someone runs up and goes, I saw you playing the DoubleNeck. How come everyone doesn't play one of those? And I said, hey, believe it or not, some people, it's not everyone's vibe. Some people think they're inappropriate, you know? And I said, I had a buddy visit today. He wasn't sure if I should play it in church, right? Is that a fair? I wasn't trying to single you off, but I said that, you know, I said that, you know, yeah. And my pastor spoke up and he goes, huh, really? And I didn't ask him the opinion. He goes, really? I go, yeah. Some people think it's inappropriate. It's too distracting. He goes, I'd let a sitar up there if we had a sitar player. And I was like, huh. And then he said, I mean, I couldn't have said it better myself. He said, anything offered to the Lord is worship. And I said, oh my, the Lord's anointing is on this man. Because, and I went, wow. I went, oh my gosh, yes, that is my feeling. But I get it. You know what I mean? I get it. I get the...
My response would be that we found about 7 or 8 guitars that if those were offered to the Lord as worship, it would not be. I would encourage your pastor to go watch that episode.
Yeah. He clearly hasn't seen
the skeleton
Friends.
holding a guitar was hardly a guitar, but
Pastor, you said anything. That's all.
Oh man,
I love that. I'm glad it worked out.
It did work out. It did work out.
It was great.
It was really good. Yeah.
That guitar sounds really good.
Yeah.
I think it all comes back again to like, I think you can push the boundaries a lot more if what you're playing is good.
Yes.
If what you're playing is obnoxious, then you can have the most vanilla looking guitar and it's still, it's going to raise some eyebrows.
And I think to be fair, sonically, if you just heard the music and didn't see me, you might just think I had an octave pedal.
There was nothing wrong with the sound of it, or inappropriate or anything.
Yeah, it's so typical.
Yeah.
It was so, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There really wasn't sonically anything.
No, and it's not like you were up there putting on a show either. It's like your normal stage presence.
There's a fog machine. I mean,
no, I mean like you specific. It's not like you were really into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Moving people out of the way
You
to get
didn't
to
even
the front
get
of the
near
stage.
the piano, let alone jump on top of it. You
No.
weren't even. You're on the other side of the stage.
It wouldn't have held me up. It's a wobbly stand.
You didn't even slide on your knees or anything.
Can I tell you something? You want to know something else is funny? I spent the whole day, you know, kind of having this little conversation about is something distracting or not. Our keys player today, very fashionable lady, she had on just like a normal outfit, but she had these new, what I would call pandas. They're like low top dunks in Nike, but they're black and white. When they're black and white, the sneaker culture calls them pandas. But she had on these New Balance ones, and she joked, these New Balance ones are the more conservative version. because Nike, it's, different companies have different. So she was joking. These are like I was like, oh, cool Dunks, cool Pandas, and she was like, these are real popular now. They're the more conservative ones. They're like for people who are boycotting Nike.
Right.
New Balance came out with like copies of
So
Nike.
smart.
Yeah.
Right. So smart.
We got you.
So smart. But then I went to lunch with my buddy Phil, who's a pretty fashionable guy into sneakers, and and he goes, I said, I had that guitar with 2 necks, and he was like, oh yeah, I didn't really notice. But then I brought up the Dunks, and he was like, I was staring at her Dunks the whole time. Right. And I go, Phil, you were more distracted by the Keys player's new shoes, and you didn't even notice that and Phil's not a guitar player.
But here's,
you know what I mean?
yes.
But he saw what he's into.
I was like, this is incredible. He saw what he was into.
Yeah.
I was like,
haven't you
that's
guys
so
ever
funny.
experienced that phenomenon, though? It's like when you're looking to buy a new car.
Yes.
And you start researching the car,
Yeah.
then you start seeing that car
There's a
everywhere.
million of them.
Everywhere.
Guess what? The rate at which you've seen that car has not gone up. You're just paying attention to it.
Right.
And so if you're really into guitars, you're going to notice what guitar people are playing. If you have no idea about guitars, then like we were saying before, like, well, don't you already have a guitar like that? These guitars look the same.
What do you play, the bass?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? People
Remember
do
when your
that.
wife thought you played the bass?
She asked. I sat down after playing. We've been married for like 10 years, and I sat down and she's like, "Worship sounded good today, babe." I was like, "Oh, cool." She's like, "Was that a new bass you were playing?" This was like 3 years ago. I go.
This just proves this just proves no wives are listening to us.
No.
Nobody.
Yeah.
The Susan's wife doesn't know he plays the guitar.
Right. My first instinct was like, "Oh no, she caught me. I have a new guitar up there that we didn't talk about me buying." But then I was like, "Bass." So I was split.
So good.
Yeah. So
I feel like it's more understandable if you do play the bass that someone's like, my husband plays guitar, and you'd be like, bass.
it's
And
the
you'd be
same.
like,
Yeah,
bass guitar.
bass guitar.
Right,
Yeah.
But no,
guitar.
but go the other way.
Right.
I know.
Did she think? I mean, did you follow up? Did she thought
She
you'd been playing a
thought-
bass this whole time?
She thought, "What's the difference?"
That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. If you're not into it, all of the details.
Remember, these are the same guitar.
Yeah.
It's
You
that.
know what, isn't
All
it-
of the details are lost.
It's so funny to me. People love music. Like nobody hates music or doesn't listen to music.
Yeah,
But then But then you can literally like just be like, oh, I love this song. I love this album. I love this band.
Yeah.
But then just like I have no idea what those people like.
Here's-
they're
here-
holding different instruments.
Right.
You know what I
Here's
mean?
the point. Here's the point. Okay, so
don't know.
I was trying to explain to my friend the other day what it is that you guys do.
Yeah.
What Tone Junkie is.
Yes.
How you earn money. I was
I
trying
did
to.
this today at lunch.
I was trying to explain this to him.
Susan's still trying to tell his in-laws too about.
Oh my god. My friend, it took me 20 minutes. We were on the way to go pick up food, and then on the way back, and we made zero
The
progress.
whole time.
The whole time on the way there and on the way back.
Wow.
It was just the two of us in the car. We were undistracted. We made no headway. He was still just as confused when we got back. And what it was is he couldn't differentiate that the guitar sounds one way, but you playing it is a completely different thing than how it sounds.
Right.
Right?
He couldn't
In
take tone from like notes.
In his
or
mind, how it sounds was directly linked to how you're playing it.
I mean, that is true.
And it is true.
so
but-
to get a new sound, you'd need a new guitar.
Yeah, so what he kept saying was, so they buy your stuff, but then you're playing. So then they're not playing anymore. You're playing it. And I'm like, no,
Whoa, he was way off.
he was way off.
Yeah.
But here's what, and I was like, when we get back to the house, I'll show you. And I pulled up a YouTube video and I was like, see how they sound different guitars, same guy playing it. And he's like, okay, I think I get it now. Right?
Wow.
My point is,
Yes.
some of these details are very foreign to people, and it doesn't make any sense.
Right.
This reminds me of I used to teach guitar lessons, and I had a guitar student's parent come in and talk to me about the guitar, and she wanted to know how I memorized all of the notes on the fretboard, and I thought she just meant what note is that called, what note is that called. But over the course of talking to her, I realized that she didn't understand what octaves were. She thought that every new fret was a brand new note. And so I was like, so at a piano, she was like, yeah, the whole thing is different notes. I was like, whoa, okay. So we have these repeat.
Sure.
Like there's a series that repeats
don't
over and
know.
over. They had no idea.
There's actually only 12.
Yeah,
That's it.
once you hit this, it's the same note, just higher. She's like,
Right.
what do you mean? It can't be both. It can't be the same note and higher. I was like, dang, this is, woo.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because you have to get over that hurdle first before you can start talking about
Right.
scales.
Because then
like
you have
everything
to,
else.
yeah, it's like you have to go down to, let me tell you how sound works. Right?
No, it is
Yeah.
kind of wild that the tonality repeats as you go up and down.
Yeah.
I mean, that is kind of wild.
Have you ever
Yeah,
seen
it
what?
could
Have you ever
not
seen
be
it
that way.
in
Yeah.
slow motion? Have you ever seen a guitar filmed in slow motion playing
Like with
octaves?
the strings
Playing
going.
no, just playing octaves. You can see it that this one vibrates half the speed at this one. You can see it.
Wow.
It's awesome.
Right, makes sense.
Yeah.
Like for
It makes
every
total-
one, this one goes twice
Yeah,
for every time
exactly.
this one goes.
It makes sense because
and
the
it's like
wave-
that's what it is.
yeah, the
Oh,
wave,
that's what
the
an
distance in the
octave
wave
is.
is
This
it.
one's
Yeah.
vibrating exactly twice
That's-
as fast
Dude, science
as this
is
one.
That's
awesome.
what's
I know.
that's what frequency is. How frequent
Yes.
does this thing complete
Right.
one oscillation?
Yes.
Wow.
It's,
And
it's
so it's
wild.
like, oh, okay.
It is wild.
That's
I know.
what it
Even we
is.
don't think about that. See how we're blowing our own minds, and we know this.
Yeah, yeah.
But
actual
you're like that's exactly
the
what it is.
movement,
Yeah.
Right.
So like a low E and an E, an octave above it that's slightly out of tune is nearly double.
Nearly double, but, not exactly.
But you have to get it back to
Not
perfectly
exactly
double.
double.
That's awesome.
I know, isn't that wild?
Anywho,
Yeah.
Music, harmony.
yeah.
I got really into science video. Well, I've always been very into science videos, but there's a really great video by a channel called Minute Physics about how we do, what is it called? Like standard tonality or something like that. How they tune pianos now, where it's like,
Yeah, like a,
how we tune guitars. It's like, it's not
like a
actually
tempered variant of
perfect.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Because if you tune it for, you'd have to tune the piano for just a certain key.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. And it's really wild the way we do it, where it's like,
Yeah, like string players, violins and cello and stuff, they know they have to change their pitch slightly if they're just playing with each other or if they're playing with
Yes.
a fretted instrument.
yeah.
And they, if you're good, you get used to that. They know if I'm playing with a piano.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah, but then they're like, if I'm playing with other, like another cellist, we kind of know what the A will be.
Right.
But if we're playing with a piano, we know we have to adjust slightly to match the pitch of the piano because
so
it'll
wild.
be different.
Wow.
Right.
We're thinking about so much already, and then add that in.
So much.
I know,
I'd much rather play guitar.
I know.
It's so much fun.
Which is why next week I will be debuting the fretless 12 string.
Ooh, the fretless.
Oh.
Oh my gosh. Can you imagine?
I did play a fretless guitar at NAMM. It was insanely hard to play.
Yeah,
Oh,
it sounds like a box of rubber bands.
It basically was. Yeah.
It's like a ridiculous.
It sounded
you
cool
know?
when you were on one string, but then the
Yes.
guy was
Yeah.
like, play a chord. I was like, oh, no.
Yeah.
I don't think-
Now, I've played a fretless bass before, and they're not super easy to play. But like in a while, in like a day, you
Yes.
could probably get pretty.
You play one note at a time. You play chords.
But
We
chords-
haven't trained to do chords so that everything is in a straight
Oh,
line.
no.
No.
We're close enough.
Yeah,
And that's on a
close
fret.
enough. It's
Yeah.
like you get there's a zone. If you land in the end zone,
Yeah,
you score the touchdown.
You're good, right?
Yeah, it's not on the. You don't have to be on the line.
Yeah, every yard matters.
Yeah, that's right.
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 Well, and in fact, you're like you learn. Like I'm actually not playing on the exact on the third. If you're playing
at
a
all.
fretless guitar,
Point, yeah.
it has to be exactly
yeah.
on the third
Yeah.
fret. It's
Yeah.
like
It's like C, 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 C.
It's all
And move it all
C.
around.
Yeah, you're in the end zone, man. That's it. You get the same. Z.
Right, yeah.
I love it.
Lots of C's.
I love it.
Uh,
All right, so you'll be playing that
So I will
always
be,
and forever.
I
then.
will I mean, this is this is
part
going to
of
be a
you.
common new thing for me.
You were going to change the pickups on that. Are you?
I mentioned
still?
it on Sunday. It sounded great. I don't know about changing them.
The
sounded
video
really
sounds
good.
amazing.
It's a good thing I bought a second double neck.
There we go.
Because now I can try the pickups in there. And maybe I go, hey, let me replace a couple parts on the other double neck so it's not this two-tone thing anymore.
I was actually going to say I would love to replace the frets on it for you to be stainless steel frets.
We could do, I mean,
I think I could do it. I think it would be fun.
What do you think of the phrase? I think I could do
I
it.
think I could do it. I wouldn't mind a little more, a little more,
More confidence, maybe?
Yeah, confidence.
I think I can do it.
But-
absolutely.
I
100% I will try.
absolutely think I can
I
do it.
absolutely think I could do it.
Suze, you said something earlier that I thought was really interesting. It was in response to the 12-string video we did. and or should you play it at church with the 12 strings? Sorry. And we've had these conversations. What would you play? Bright colors, double neck, distracting stuff. What was your reaction to some of the comments that we've been getting?
Oh yeah. I think what I said was like I came into this conversation with a pretty clear line in my head of where I'm at, and I think that has been shifting a little bit. You know, like as a result of our conversation and some of the comments. Like honestly, some of the comments in the last video were like, all of these guitars are inappropriate. Like none of these should be played in church.
Zero guitars should be in church.
And that's a legit stance. Like that's just saying like, look, at my church, we don't use instruments.
Yeah.
Like this is all meant for the world and for concerts and outside. Like this is church. Like you don't play guitars.
Right.
It's like, okay, that's where you are. I'm so far from that. Like I'm way over here.
Yeah. And I saw some people, you know, there shouldn't be lights in church. You know, there shouldn't, you know, it's all too much. And
right.
I get that. I think there's validity to like those critiques.
Yeah.
I also just think also like, but if someone else is like, well, we think lights look cool and anything offered is.
Yeah, like one of the comments was, I've just been trying to build up the courage to play my Silver Sparkle Gretsch, which is one of my favorite guitars.
Totally.
Yes,
and I played it on Easter Sunday. I'm like, dude, this guitar is killer. I love this thing, and it just feels like me. It just feels like you know, I was nothing out about that guitar to me. And he's going, I have this guitar, but I can't bring myself to bring it to church. It's too flashy. And so he's looking at me like I would be looking at you with a double neck.
Yes.
And so I'm
You're
just
the
like,
HW to someone.
yes.
Right.
No, that's it, man. And so like I've just positionally, I'm finding myself like I thought I was on this end of the conversation, but really there's way more back.
You realize how
behind
much
me.
distance is
Yeah,
that
and it's like, oh man, okay, so whatever arguments I would say to that guy, like there's nothing wrong with a Sparkle Gretsch. Just play it and have fun with it. You would say to me, and it's almost like, well, if I could justify my stance to that guy, why can't you justify your stance to me? And it's like, okay, then let him have his thing, you know?
My mind's been changed on one thing too, is that so last week at church we went and there was a guy playing a Wolfgang EVH. Oh. It wasn't the
purple one.
So it was blue. It was a blue sparkle one, and it had the Floyd Rose on it.
Blue Sparkle.
And I didn't even notice that it had a Floyd Rose until the very end of service.
Wow.
And I was like, that guitar's totally fine. I love that guitar. So I'm actually back in on Floyd Roses at.
Do you think Suze's wife, who thought the guitar was a bass, would notice a Floyd Rose?
No, not even close. Not even a little bit.
Is it a new Floyd Rose?
Yeah. Is that thing a little larger than normal?
I know. Totally. I know. But that's the thing. It's like we get hung up on the details that we notice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And most people will notice completely different details.
Yeah, and it's like the Silver Sparkle, you know, to you and me is normal. Because it's something we see all the time on Gretches, so it doesn't even stand out as like really that crazy. You know, I don't even think of sparkle guitars as that crazy because it's a thing, and it's really a thing because someone way back when like had this Gretsch and you know in the factory and was like, we should do Silver Flake, you know, and they did it, and then it just came out, and then that just became a normal kind of thing in the guitar world, and in drums and stuff, you know, they have that.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen like a sparkle cello?
No,
I haven't.
Yeah.
It's just not normal, you know?
Right.
Right.
I'm not sure who'd play that, but
things get normalized when you see them over and over and over again.
Yes.
You know, and I used to have played a church that had a Silver Sparkle drum set. It was like an old Slingerland Silver Sparkle. And so Silver,
I had one growing up too.
Yeah. So Silver Sparkle on a drum set, it just looks like black
Yeah.
or red. It's just a finish.
That's
you know?
also why I've always loved Gretsch sparkles.
Yeah.
Is because they're more like drum set wraps.
Yeah.
Than they are like
it's
guitar.
that big flake.
The
It's
big
the
flake.
big flakes. Yeah.
But to another person that didn't grow up around that, they might see that drum set and go like, "Oh my gosh, that's like
wow.
a mirror ball," you know?
Yeah.
And it's like,
yeah, right.
It's not. It's just a normal finish. So that's all to say that, and basically me circling around saying a lot of this whole conversation has been personal opinion. I would not play that guitar,
Yes.
and I don't
Yes.
like that guitar.
Yes.
And so then you ask me, is this appropriate to play it? And I'm going, no. But that's not because it matches some sort of like up here esoteric appropriate or not appropriate.
Yes.
It's because my personal
Yes.
line is on this side of it.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's hard to answer both. It's hard to say. Even in our conversation, if you go back and watch, a lot of us say, I wouldn't play it.
Yeah.
Right.
But I'm good with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
we don't
tough.
like it. But
yeah.
and it's funny when you get asked a question like this, we all answer with how we feel. Like, that's how you answer. And then what I identify in myself is when I get asked that question, my reaction is how I feel. And then my brain reaches to try to justify it. Because it's natural for me to try to justify what I feel and think right away. And then when I think through it, I may change my opinion because I can't justify it. Or someone may offer me some information that changes my opinion or something. But that's kind of, I think, what we all do. So we look at stuff and we go, that's inappropriate. And then we sort of reach for like, how might that be inappropriate? Or why is it inappropriate? Rather than, you know what I mean? When I get the question, I just immediately have an answer. I don't quite get, like I have an inkling, even if I'm a little on the fence, I'm like, man, a little more not than but okay. Or yeah, it's fine. And then you try to justify. And like you're saying, because it's mostly how we feel, we can change each other's opinions. You also said normalize, when you do things repeatedly, they get normalized. That's why I plan to play this all the time. That's why I plan to play this every week. And like I told you this earlier.
Should we make you a shirt that says normalized double necks?
Yes. Yeah.
Tone Junkie merch. We already have hats, and now we have shirts.
Yeah. My co-pilot's a double neck. My double neck is my co-pilot.
Yeah, we'll get there.
We'll make it work.
I think we were there. I think we were there already.
Make double necks something again. There's something in there. But no, like I said to you earlier, this weekend playing this at church is the most comments I'm ever going to get about this guitar. It only gets less comments and more normal from here.
Yeah.
And so,
no, you got to keep up in the game. Next time it's a silver sparkle double neck.
Exactly. Fretless silver sparkle double neck held by a 6-foot Grim
skeleton
Reaper statue. My pastor did say to somebody else as I was like walking by, in passing, he was like, yeah, he's got the double neck because his triple neck's in the shop. I was like, don't tempt me,
Well, I know,
pastor one-liners.
I know.
That's the
when
thing,
you
man.
mentioned the part earlier about like you could set it up for slide on the top and just have a 6-string and open tuning, I thought, well, now you need 3 necks so that you can have the 12
and then the little
strings
mandolin on top.
Yeah.
By the way, I wanted to let you know, you guys officially ruined that guitar for me. Every time I look at it, it looks hideous now, and I think of how ridiculous it looks with that Peter Griffin.
It's a growth.
It's a growth on there. Can we show it right now?
I think
double neck and
that's one of my best observations.
You
like
saw
you
it.
haven't nailed anything better than you nailed that.
No, yeah. Even my wife died laughing when I showed her that.
Oh, funny.
I mean, it and now that whole thing just looks so silly to me.
Yeah.
See, now you see it the way we see
It's
it.
distracting.
And now I see. Yeah. Now, do I still think it accomplishes the job? I do. And if I walked into a church and someone had that guitar, I'd go, that guy's serious. That guy can play. Like enough that he was like, I need the mandolin and that. I'd be like, watch that guy. I bet he knows what he's doing.
At church on Sunday, next to the guy playing the blue sparkle was a guy playing a mandolin. And I thought to myself, the mandolin's actually a little bit more distracting.
Right. You thought to yourself, that could be one guy. They don't know.
They could be covering both parts.
I thought to myself, actually, I'd rather just see him playing another electric guitar.
It would have been funnier if the mandolin had the Floyd Rose.
I would have been impressed.
The blue sparkle Floyd Rose mandolin. That would have been.
Like, man, show me who made that. I'm just impressed.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You think there's any on reverb right now? Probably not.
Electric
it's an
mandolins.
Untapped market.
Yeah, they're pretty conservative. Look like tellies and stuff. It's pretty. But not a ton of mandolin these days in any world.
In any world. Well, I'm glad I ruined it for you so that we don't have to look at you.
I won't be here anytime soon.
Yeah. I do think like another double neck I could see is like the octave guitar. Like, Gibson made some and they're super expensive. They're very rare. But it's a full guitar on the bottom and then an octave guitar up here. And
what do you mean octave guitar?
So it's actually just tuned one octave up. So it's like playing the guitar with the nut right here. And so...
Is it shorter?
It is.
Oh, okay.
It's shorter, but not... It doesn't stop halfway. Yeah. It's shorter, but you use... I don't know. It's just the strings are looser or whatever. Like kind of different. Right. Yeah, it's like a high strung, really. Right. But it is an octave. But you could just do a high strung also. But then why not just get a 12 string? Because a high strung is just the top of the 12.
Have you seen that? We should have talked about we should do like a should you play this in church acoustic edition. because
All we talked about was the Gibson.
all we talked about was the
Yeah.
Gibson. But remember, have you ever seen those ones that have like the big neck here that have like bass strings?
Yes.
So it's like a regular acoustic neck, but then like just
Yes.
single strings
Yeah.
that there's no fretboard
Right.
or anything.
You just hit them to have them open. Have you seen the ones that's a guitar in the front, and when you flip it over, it's a bass neck in the back?
Stop.
necks?
Absolutely
Stop
not.
Put it on the screen right now. I'll send it to you. See, look at that. I don't know. You literally flip it.
I can't look at
And
it.
if you actually look,
I don't want
you
to look at
actually
that.
think of how the other neck is actually not in your way at all. Whoever designed these, it's an interesting observation. You can have a second neck in the back, and you would think it wouldn't work. But if you look at how your guitar, you actually hold the guitar.
It doesn't hit anything.
No, it's like
That's just air.
There's space. Yeah,
They went into the third dimension.
it looks like
You go
yes.
that way.
It looks like
Give me that Z dimension. I
Right,
need
yeah.
that.
It is.
Why not go in front of
It
that
is.
one and then in
And
front of that one?
I don't know quite why there's so many of these made. They're all over Reverb. Like if you look these up, they have a name. I can't remember it.
Wow.
But
I kind of want to do that.
yeah, just look up double neck bass. You'll find it. You'll find all of them.
Double neck.
For some reason, these come up for double neck bass. That's how I discovered it.
Really?
Yeah, it's on the screen, so they've seen it. But well, Suze, is it safe to say you're now on Team Double Neck in church?
Yeah. I'm
We did
there.
it. We did it.
Mission accomplished.
We did it. We did it.
Wow. Should I play us out while he's researching this?
We really should do a Should You Play This bass edition too. I just realized after looking at 18 reverb.
I think we might be fatiguing people, but
No,
maybe.
I
no?
think the world needs it.
I think the world needs it. I think also there's a question to be had like keytars. We have keyboards, we have guitars. What if I'm a player that plays the guitar? And
John Mayer did it, or his band, whatever.
yeah,
I
Big
think,
old solo.
I think the guitar, it has a thing. It has a vibe.
right.
For sure.
Little,
Well,
yeah, a little.
I don't think it's a good one, but it has one.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to add anything. Like I don't think you can be as good on a
Right.
guitar as you could be if you just sat down and played a piano.
yeah.
I don't know. I'm remembering though.
Is anyone better at the guitar than they are at the piano?
I don't know. I'm remembering that guy at John Mayer, and he
Part of it was the look, though. It's just
he
a
was,
spectacle.
he was
look.
shredding that
It's a
thing.
spectacle.
No, it actually. Here's what's interesting. It solves a problem, right? In the '80s, and people have said this, what's the guy's name? Billy Joe. Is that his name?
Billy Joel.
Billy Joel. There you go. He pointed out. He's like, I play the piano. It's just not a cool instrument.
Right.
He's like, guitar is a cool instrument. Piano's not a cool instrument. Someone tried to solve that.
Yeah.
That was the keytar. They were like, I can't play with the keys and be the front man and
Yeah.
get up there and do the moves. But what if I could?
I don't know. Elton John kind of solved it too. He played the piano.
That's true.
Wow.
That's true.
He had a vibe.
Suze, do you want to play us out
Yeah,
on
sure.
on this beautiful 1982
Well,
Epiphone?
Why don't you play it? We both played,
we
and
both played.
and that hasn't been.
You know what?
played.
Actually, I think you should play this.
Okay.
I think the vibe that you played earlier, you should attempt to play on both of these necks.
Okay.
And
Oh,
think
like I have to
that's-
switch.
Yeah. Why not have you switch? I'm not going to hand you the strap. Is that cool?
Oh, sorry.
Here you go. I told you I didn't want to play it. I didn't want to play after you.
How'd your back feel?
Dude, I'll be honest. My back hurt. My back hurt. Last night, my back hurt. And
How much does that guitar weigh? Do you know?
was it 14?
Dang.
It might not. Is it 14? I can't remember.
know.
Is it 11? I don't remember. We should
Anything
weigh
more
it.
than 9,
Yes,
I think
it's
is
heavy.
quite a bit.
It's heavy, and I felt fine, but it was later I felt my back,
Right.
and I was like, "Why does my back hurt?" And then I was like, "Oh, right,
All right.
because I'm playing the most awesome guitar in the world."
Small price to pay.
Small price to pay for tone. There is no sacrifice too great for tone. And I've been HW,
I've been Suze.
and
And John too.
this has been Guitar Friends, episode 17. If you're not playing a double neck, what are you doing?
What are you even doing?
What are you even doing?